There's a certain kind of dread that's unique to a specific part of your own house. And I'm not talking about the basement, that damp, dark place. No, I'm talking about the forgotten room right over your head. Today, we're going to dig into why the attic can be the source of some really deep, unsettling fear. And that line right there, it comes from our first story. It's so simple, but so many of us get it, right? It's that gut feeling, that instinctual unease about the space overhead. And it just perfectly sets the mood for the accounts we're about to get into, where that childhood fear turns out to be, well, completely justified. So let's be real. An attic isn't just for dusty boxes and old holiday decorations. Think of it more like the subconscious of the house. It's a quiet, dusty archive of everything that's been left behind. And as these stories are about to show us, sometimes those things don't stay quiet. We're calling this first section the fear upstairs, and for good reason. It's a feeling almost everyone understands. It's that fear of what you can't see, but you know is there, just sitting on the other side of a thin layer of plaster. It's the source of every single creak and groan your house makes in the middle of the night. Most of the time, we just ignore the attic. We seal it away and try not to think about it. But what happens when it refuses to be ignored? What if the hidden life of the house starts to push back, right from that forgotten space? We're going to see this fear unfold through three completely different first-person stories. Each one comes from a unique perspective, but they all share this one terrifying thing that starts right there in the attic. So here are the case files we're diving into. First up, The Sleepwalker, a really chilling story about a kid who keeps ending up in a dangerous attic, almost like something is drawing him there. Then we have The Hidden History, where finding a box of old papers uncovers not just a family secret, but a full-blown descent into madness. And finally, The Unseen Vandal, the story of someone being terrorized by an impossible intruder who leaves behind very real damage, but no other trace. Okay, so the first big theme that connects these stories is this really unnerving idea that a house can have a hidden life, like a physical reality that the people living there know absolutely nothing about. This quote is from our second story. The narrator finds a diary, and the person who wrote it became obsessed with this weird anomaly. The measurements of the attic just didn't add up to the house's blueprints. There was missing space. A physical impossibility that screamed that something was being hidden on purpose. And finding that hidden space had a terrifying effect. You can watch this person's mind just unravel on the page. What started as curiosity, just measuring things, quickly turned into obsession. Then they started hearing things, scratching from behind a wall. The diary entries get more and more frantic, until their sanity just snaps. The last pages are nothing but these creepy, endless tally marks. The house's secret literally drove them mad. So when they finally tear down that wall, they find something that just shouldn't be there. It's not a storage space. It's a completely sealed room covered in these bizarre symbols with no other door, no other way in or out. This wasn't some forgotten closet. It was a chamber that was hidden away, which raises the absolutely terrifying question of how it was even built in the first place. And this is where it gets personal. The narrator's father has this sudden realization. Someone else must have found those diary pages before them and hidden them again. His own father. The grandfather knew. He knew about the secret room, and he chose to cover it up. Suddenly, the horror isn't just about the house anymore. It's a dark family secret. And that leads us right into the second big theme that runs through all three of these stories. The absolute violation of your home by some kind of unseen, unexplainable intruder. When you look at all the stories together, the pattern of this presence is just so consistent. It always starts with these little sounds you might try to ignore, a footstep, scratching, but then it escalates. It becomes something you can see, a flicker of movement, or in the case of the vandal, something terrifyingly real, like fresh, dripping paint and deep gouges in the wood. It's like the presence is making itself known, moving from something you hear to something you can touch. And this is how your safest space, your home, gets completely violated. For the sleepwalker, dusty old things from the attic just start showing up in his bedroom. For the other two homeowners, the torment is constant, coming from right over their heads. And in the most terrifying case, the attic is violently vandalized by something that leaves no trace of how it got in or out. The one place you were supposed to feel safe is totally compromised. But what really makes these stories stick with you isn't just what happened. It's the total, complete failure of any kind of logic to explain them. That's the lingering mystery. I mean, just stop and think about the questions here for a second. How on earth does a little kid sleepwalk through a maze of exposed nails and splintered wood in pitch darkness and not get a single scratch? How could the diarist describe a hidden room with perfect accuracy from outside its sealed walls? And how does an intruder tear a place apart in a creaky old house and then just vanish without making a sound? Rationality completely breaks down. There are no good answers. And that's the lasting damage. The narrator from that first story, he's a grown man now, and he still can't just accept this simple answer. The logical explanation, oh, he was just sleepwalking. It just feels hollow. It doesn't explain the feeling, the sounds, the sheer impossibility of it all. So the mystery stays with him, like a thorn in his memory. He has to live his life believing that something else was up there with him that night. Which really just leaves us with one last, pretty unsettling thought. These stories suggest that the places we think we know best might be holding secrets we can't even begin to imagine. They make you wonder about the history that's soaked into your own walls and about that quiet, forgotten space just over your head. After all, if a house is like a body, then the attic is its mind, and you never really know what it's thinking.